and I have seen the best of North Carolina. So tonight, we officially move into the recovery phase of dealing with this unexpected disaster. To those that have been impacted by this storm, and especially those who have experienced the loss of a loved one, you have my deepest sympathy. To everyone that rolled up their sleeves and continued to serve, Ann and I offer a sincere thank you. To the swift water and animal rescue teams, the North Carolina National Guard, the Baptist men and women, and other churches and volunteer organizations, local leaders, and first responders, our state owes you a debt of gratitude for your heroic service. Many of those who lost the most could least afford this terrible disaster. So I pledge to those people, to our citizens who could least afford this terrible disaster, we will do what it takes to help you get your life back. Tonight, I'm here to talk about where we go from here. The immediate action plan signed an executive order calling on legislators to provide flexibility with the school calendar for schools that were closed because of this storm. And I'm requesting that school boards in those areas impacted not reschedule lost school days until after legislative action can be taken. I have also taken action to provide disaster food stamp benefits in impacted counties because there are so many people still just trying to find the basic necessities of food and shelter. We have also just today approved disaster unemployment assistance for those who have lost their jobs as a result of Hurricane Matthew. We've extended the tax filing deadline and waived the late penalty for any taxpayer in the impacted counties, especially those businesses, as I see mayors from Fayetteville and Kinston and Goldsboro. I know they're hurting right now, and we want to do everything we can to help them. And finally, we have worked with our federal partners, and I want to thank our federal partners because we have provided $21.9 million in federal funding for much-needed individual assistance. Now, these are very positive steps, but we know that we have a long way to go. In fact, just today, a new state of emergency was just declared for Brunswick County due to a water main break. Today, we still have 500 roads that are closed or are operated with lane restrictions throughout the state of North Carolina, almost all in the eastern part of our state. And sadly, nearly 1,000 citizens remain in shelters. Nearly 1,000 citizens remain in shelters, disconnected from life as they knew it. And many are still unsure if their homes remain intact. Today, many of them are seeing their flooded homes for the first time in a week. So tonight, I want to outline our top 5 priorities to move forward. First, we must ask all of our citizens and people throughout the country to help raise money and give money to those in need through the North Carolina Disaster Relief Fund, particularly to help rebuild and provide permanent housing for those who have lost their homes or have severely damaged homes. Second, we're moving rapidly to reopen and rebuild our roads, our bridges, our rail lines, and our water lines as fast and as safe as possible. And third, we are implementing a comprehensive strategy for how to rebuild sustainable towns and communities, which will be better prepared for future disasters, especially as it relates to flooding. Fourth, we must assess the storm's financial impact, serious financial impact, especially on the agricultural community, small businesses, commercial fishermen, and others, and develop a long-term economic recovery plan of action for each of those groups. And finally, we're going to implement a plan for any needed legislative action for any additional relief funding to help both businesses and individuals. Now, to meet these important objectives for North Carolina's future, I am here this evening to formally establish the Hurricane Matthew Recovery Committee. This committee will be chaired by my Chief of Staff, Thomas Stiff, whose family comes from Rocky Mount and the eastern part of the state. He will have a direct line to me and our incredible Emergency Operations Director, Mike Sprayberry, throughout this process. Other co-chairs from the private sector include Steve Wordsworth of Rocky Mount, representing the business community, Ann Faircloth of Clinton, representing the agricultural community, and Vanessa Harrison of AT&T, who will represent the utilities and other industry throughout the state, who we need to step up and help these families in eastern North Carolina. You know, these leaders have a reputation for getting things done and will provide guidance during our recovery efforts. And I want to thank them for being a part of our team, and already others are reaching out. I'm already getting a lot of phone calls when word got out about this committee of many people say, how can I serve, how can I help? In fact, just today I received a message from former Governor Beverly Perdue, who reached out to lend her support and say, I want to help serve on this committee. This is the best of North Carolina, people wanting to step up and help from across the state. Throughout this framework, I am confident that our state will provide the recovery that our fellow citizens deserve. And working together, we will recover, we will rebuild, and we will do it the right way. And we will be ready for the next challenge. You know, I saw firsthand as I traveled throughout the state how the strong waters from the Lumber, Neuse, Cape Fear, and Tar Rivers tragically and forcefully forced people from their homes and businesses. But those same waters also brought out the best of North Carolina. I learned that rising waters can crumble our roads and flood our communities, but they cannot wash away our resilience or our spirit to rebuild. Because as Princeville Mayor Bobby Jones said last week, even while his house was underwater, he said the following: things will get better. We've lost material possessions, but we still have a desire to move forward, and we have our belief and faith in God. This is the best of North Carolina, Mayor. To my other mayors who are in these beautiful 1841 chambers tonight, I want to say thank you. Now the hard work starts, and we're all going to do it together as a team, because that is the best of North Carolina. May God bless you and the great state of North Carolina. Thank you all very much for your team effort. Let's move forward. Thank you all very much. Thank you.